Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Conversations of Friends of Faith to encourage and equip. Friends of Faith. How amazing is that? Not friends like this fickle world has to offer, but friends of faith. What does that mean? What does that truly mean? Have you ever really thought about that? What does that mean? Well, we're going to be taking a tour across America beginning February 26th, and we're going to be talking about that very thing, friends of faith, what that means, and how we can, one, be that, and two, how we can receive that. You know, we have to receive friendship. Do you know that? Have you ever thought about that? So many times we think about being a friend, but how many times do we think about receiving friendship? Oh my goodness, can I just tell you, before we get started on what God has given me today, can I just tell you how absolutely, unbelievably, amazingly excited I am about this tour that's kicking off? I believe it is the secret, these nuggets of wisdom that have been laying around all along about this thing called friendship that we have just totally missed. You know, we're all looking for what God has for us to do, right? Isn't that right? We all want to know. We don't want to miss God's plan. But are we missing it by thinking that it has to be something that is like glitzy and glamorous? It's friendship. It's friendship. That's a calling that each and every one of us have. I'm so excited about what God is doing. And Sherry, I too am so excited to be back. And I promise you, things are getting better. Lee's getting stronger. And we have our PT later this afternoon. And before long, all of our schedules probably will be back to normal. And I will tell you what a delight it is to know that when I don't see you here, that I still know you're there. Do you all feel that way about this group? That when you can't be here, you know that we are here? That when you can't see us, you know that we are praying for one another and that we know that we have each other's back? That is true friendship. But as we go across the nation, you all, and maybe even London, I'm going to be talking to Sherry about that. They want us in London. And there's even other things now that's starting to uncover. But I will tell you what, this is what we've always been. Coffee has always been a ministry of friendship. I think that's why people feel so comfortable. It's not preaching, it's not judgmental, it's not setting an expectation, it's not getting on our soapboxes. It is about really living. And I'm not saying perfectly, none of us are perfect, but it's about living and breathing what God is showing us to be true friendship. So, in that, in every place across the nation that we stop, we're going to be diving into a different aspect of friendship. So, you get to go along with us as we travel along because we're going to either set it up by Zoom or by live stream or some way so that you can be a part of that. You all, I cannot tell you about what I think is going to be a reawakening on what God really wants us to be doing. Being kind to one another, really taking time for each other, doing all those things that are so opposite of what this world is set up to be conducive for us to do. Or can y'all tell I'm so excited about this? I tell you what, I get excited when I know that you and I are walking right in the middle of God's will. Again, not perfectly. None of us are proclaiming to be perfect, but we don't need to be because He is the perfect one. And we get to walk beside Him, and He walks before us, behind us, and around us. And He is our safeguard. He is our foundation. He is the one who sings upon us. And you all, we get to share this with the world. Yes, and beyond. And we do that every morning. As many of you know, we have people who are jumping on every day from all around the world, the nation. And so if this is your first time, welcome. We're so excited to have you. Aren't we, ladies? We're always so excited to have our new friends who join us. So I hope that you're always excited about being here and knowing that you are loved right here, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, whatever hurt you may be experiencing. I hope that this is always the place where you feel God's presence, not through us, but through the speaking of God's word. Well, ladies, I have something that's kind of serious I want to talk to you about today. My heart was broken last week. I mean, when I am doing counseling, I hear a lot of hurts and I hear a lot of pains. And I hear a lot of things that happen to us that man cannot prevent. I hear about stories from past hurts where people have dealt with deep pains of maybe diagnoses. Maybe people have dealt with pains of being abandoned that they couldn't do anything about. Maybe I've heard, people who have made choices that they wish they hadn't made. And there's such pain and shame and regret and guilt. And it is such an honor for me and you know this, to be able to open God's Word and to show them that they don't have to live in shame and guilt and regret. I mean, that is like, there's nothing better than to be able to prove through God's Word that we have all fallen short of the grace of God. None of us are going to be able to live up to everything this Bible says, but we are to strive toward that. And that as we fall down, just like my grandfather used to do, he would run. God runs and he picks us up. And he doesn't condemn us. He doesn't chastise us. He is there to uplift us. And so many, many, many things that have happened to you and I, and that will happen, are going to be things that are beyond your capability of stopping. You know what I'm saying? Like you may have a drunk driver could hit your car and mess up your bumper today. Someone could say something really ugly to you today. There are things that are going to be happening around you that you're just going to kind of just like, oh my gosh, and you're going to have to deal with that. And hopefully through our talks and through God's Word, you will know how to deal with that. But there are some things that are going on that are within our capability to not allow to happen. That's what I want to talk to you about. I spent a lot of time last week, well over my normal 45 minutes, with someone talking about how someone had gossiped about her. How someone had gossiped about her. And I'm going to tell you, this woman was broken. She was already hurt. She had already been devastated. Things had already happened to her. And then a friend went out and started speaking lies, quite honestly, about her and gossiping. And before long, this woman found out that the things that she had confided in someone else had just been spread about, but not really even in the way that this woman had told. It was just in a way that was vicious, and it was ugly, and it was mean. Friends, those are the types of things that we can avoid. We can avoid. I guess I cry pretty easily anyway, but I so cried with this lady because I saw the hurt and the pain that had been put on her that could have been so easily avoided if this one woman had chosen to keep her mouth closed. She had no right, and that just really hurt me so badly. Well, then yesterday, I had a call. It's really been amazing how through this accident that Lee had, it's been amazing how you all have just reached out to me. Between that and my birthday, I've been so overwhelmed with your kindness, with your love. I mean, I really have. I have wept over that, to think that I would have friends of your caliber who seemingly love me the way you do. And I hope that that's because you feel a true love that I have for you. Even if I don't know you personally, There's just something that God gives us, isn't it? It's a true love. Well, I had a friend who called me, and she, I hadn't heard from her in a long time. Um, I mean, we still talk. We were in meetings. We lived in the same area for a while, and but she called and she said, I have to apologize. And I said, why? And she said, someone told me something that maybe you didn't like me. And it really hurt my feelings. And I really backed off because I just felt like you didn't like me. I was overwhelmed with grief. I would have just been, I was so sad. And I said, I don't even want to know who told you that because I don't want to know. But what caused you to come to me today? And she said, I don't know. She said, it's been almost a year now that I haven't had any, real contact with you. And all of a sudden, through another friend, we realized that this friend had said that to several people. And there's such division going on. Well, it was, can I tell you, it was such a beautiful moment. She and I talked yesterday, and we laughed and we giggled and we cried, and I promised to pray for her grandchildren, and she's going to pray for mine. And, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But then I started thinking about all the moments we had missed because someone had spoken a lie. Someone had the audacity to go to someone else and say that I mean, it was just a lie. Friends, we have been called to be better and do better. These are these are friends who we have to have each other's back. We have to believe in one another.